Hello, this is Dr. Bob Brown, and I want to welcome you to Calculus 1, Math 1540. This is going to be a short introduction to the course and an overview of what we will be doing this semester. In the first assignment, I'll be asking all of you to share some things about yourselves and what you plan to do in the future. So I thought I would share a little bit about myself. So I'm going to show you a little bit about my background. I have a PhD from the Georgia Institute of Technology. I did 31 years of research and development at Bell Telephone Laboratories in New Jersey, New York, and in Atlanta. For a number of years, I designed satellites, launched them on the space shuttle and on rockets. Then I developed high-speed undersea fiber optic systems. And then the last project I worked on was to help design the first generation Wi-Fi systems. Then I came to East Georgia State College and had a wonderful 14 years being in Swainsboro. I was first professor of mathematics and information technology. Then I became the chair of the Math and Science Division. And then for the last several years, I was dean of the School of Math and Science. I'm now retired, but having a lot of fun teaching mathematics online. And here are the topics we're going to cover. We're going to get into the syllabus, talk about a few parts of the syllabus, and I expect you to read the other details. We're going to look at an overview of the course resources and where to find them. We're going to look at the class schedule and what you need to do each week to keep up. We'll then talk about the first assignment, which you need to complete by Friday, January the 15th. We're going to look at homework on MyMathlab, and then talk about how to communicate with me and get any required help. Then we'll discuss the proctored tests and how to take them. And then we'll have a very, very quick overview of calculus. Now for the syllabus, you can find it on my EGSC website, which is given here, and also on my Calculus 1 webpage. First of all, we'll just go to my website and you will see basically I have two courses I'm teaching this semester, pre-calculus and calculus 1. If you went to the website, you could click on this link and get to the calculus 1 resource site. You can, if you like, read some things about my career and look at some videos where I was launching satellites and working on Wi-Fi. Then you can go to my Calculus 1 webpage. And actually from this page, you can basically work the entire course. You start over here with the syllabus, a little thing on how to ace calculus. What is calculus anyway? Here's the introductory email. We're not going to open all of these up because you've already received the introductory email. You can then go and look at the schedule here, which we will look at in a moment. And there is a schedule for Swainsboro, Statesboro, and then a slightly separate one for Augusta. And that's because Augusta and Swainsboro have spring breaks that are at different times. So for the period between the two spring breaks, Augusta will be working on slightly different material than Swainsboro and Statesboro. You can also look at the introductory video, which I'm recording right now. And here's the first assignment questionnaire, which we'll talk about. Now, as you go through the semester, you'll be looking at test 1, I provide a practice test video, and even more than that, we have other practice quizzes that you can practice for the test. Then we have test 2, test 3, test 4, and then the final exams. And associated with all of these tests and the final exam, there's a lot of material you can use to review. The most important things for each one is to look at the final exam video and the final exam practice problems. And I'll have those for all the exams and for the final. There's TI-83 calculator help, TI-84 help. And just basically a lot of material that you should come to this page all during the semester to see what you need to do. But let's first go into the syllabus. Now, at this particular point, it says the syllabus is under construction. In a few moments, I'm going to take this under construction note out of here and save it to the website. But basically, this is the entire syllabus. My office is actually located in Locust Grove, just south of Atlanta. Here is my cell phone number. Here is my email. That's the preferred way to contact me. But if you really need to get in contact me quickly, you can do that on the cell phone. The course description is given here. The course ID for MyMathlab is given here as Brown 25638. And you can read the description of what we're going to be covering. The textbook is University Calculus. And you don't have to buy a hardcover textbook, but you do need to buy the passcode for MyMathlab using the course ID here. You can read about the course outcomes, what we'll be learning, the grading scheme. It's a typical grading scheme. I do have one additional grading policy, which involves allowing the grade to be determined by the final exam only if you were having difficulties the first part of the semester. The bottom line is if you pass the final, you pass the course. But I would not wait to the last minute to try to catch up on anything. Another important thing is the last day to withdraw from classes without academic penalty is March 3rd, 2021. You can read about the campus emergency policy. There is one additional policy here, and that is a calculator policy. You do need to have a TI-83 or TI-84 graphing calculator to do many of the problems that are in this course and to be able to do it quickly. Now here's a daily course schedule, which we'll click on in just a moment. Here is the COVID-19 protocol. You will be taking tests in the ACE, the testing centers, and you need to follow the COVID-19 protocol. Now here's an overview of the course resources and where to find them. We've already talked about my website. All resources can be found there, including the video notes, and I'll show you where those are in just a second. This is probably the easiest way to navigate and see everything on the page. On D2L, you can see all the resources, and you will also see grades posted here on D2L. Now going back to the Calculus 1 web page, we're going to look at the schedule. Notice we have a daily schedule for Swainsboro and Statesboro and also for Augusta. Notice that there's a slight difference in it just because of the fact that the spring break for Swainsboro and Statesboro and Augusta are different. I'm going to click on the daily schedule for Swainsboro and Statesboro. And basically you see here by week, all of the sections of the textbook will be covering in calculus. This is a week of January the 11th. We're going to be covering 3 sections. Notice that you can click on YouTube videos here. Here's a Calculus 1 intro video, a short video on the average rate of change and the instantaneous rate of change, limits in a nutshell, and the precise definition of a limit. So each of these will be YouTube videos. In fact, you can click on this one. And we're not going to play it, but here's a Calculus 1 intro video. And right now we're just going to go back to the schedule page. Notice for each of these videos, you can take video notes. So you can click on this link here and download video notes that go with each of the lectures. So you click on this, and I'm going to log in. And notice here you have in D2L the Calculus 1 video notes, which you can get to directly from my web page. And for instance, here are the notes on each of the lectures. For instance, I'm going to just click on this one, continuity in a nutshell. And basically, you can print these out and take notes on my notes. So I encourage you to do that. Now, I also want you to sign up for MyMathlab homework by going to the Pearson link given here. You will use the course code Brown25638 to sign up for it. Notice you may complete the homework after the due date with no penalty, but I want to tell you, you really need to complete it before the test to be prepared. Now, the homework due dates are shown under assignments, basically for the Swainsboro and Statesboro and Augusta students. I got to go back. Now I want you to sign up for MyMathlab homework by going to this link to the Pearson MyMathlab webpage. The course ID was Brown 25638. Now I want you to sign up for MyMathlab homework. You'll be going to the website given here, the Pearson website. You'll be using course ID Brown 06428. Notice you may complete the homework after the due date with no penalty. However, if you don't complete it before the test, there could be a penalty because you may not do as well on the test. So I strongly encourage you to complete all of the homework before the test so that you can be prepared. Now, the homework due dates are shown under the assignments. Now you need to sign up for MyMathlab homework. You can go to the Pearson website, which is in the email I sent you, and also in the notes I've sent you. You'll use course code Brown 25638. I want to note that you may complete after the due date, but beware, be sure that you complete the homework before the test to be prepared. So there could be a penalty if you don't complete it by the time you take the test. Now, the homework due dates are shown under assignments for Swainsboro and Statesboro students in the time period after the Swainsboro and Statesboro students' spring break starts. The Augusta students must continue the homework and be sure you stay on schedule. Now, notice that students that did little homework made a D and F last semester. So be sure you do the homework. Now I'm going to click on the Pearson link and sign in. And notice here is the course Calculus 1. And the main thing you need to go to is assignments. I'm going to click on assignment homework 2.5. Notice it's due January the 23rd, 2021. I click on it and click on a problem, and you work the problem. You can get help. A lot of people like to view an example. And if you need to ask me a question, just click on Ask My Instructor, and I will reply as quickly as I can. Often I'll make a short video, share it with you, and possibly share it with the rest of the class. Now, homework is absolutely essential. If you don't make at least 80% on the homework, you may not pass. You probably won't pass. And those who passed in recent semesters did more than 85% of the homework. Those who made a D or an F did less than 80% of the homework. So I would consider dropping the course now if you feel you don't have time to do the homework. But bear in mind, rest assured, I am available to help you in any way I can. Now here's the first assignment to be completed by January the 15th. You need to email the answers to me at my email address. These are questions about you. What's your major? What profession do you plan to pursue? What would you like to have accomplished in the last 10 years? And basically answer these questions. Number 7, I surely want you to answer, to tell me the East Georgia campus locations and pick one where you'd like to take the 4 proctor tests and the final exam. So you need to specify Swainsboro, Statesboro, or Augusta. And if none work for you, you will respond with ProctorU. And if you want to take it on ProctorU, you can go to this website to sign up. If you haven't signed up before, and you need to register and then sign up for any of the tests as we go along. Continuing the first assignment, question 9, tell me which days you plan to take the test, including the final exam. It'll usually be on a Thursday or a Friday. Here are the dates. The final exam will be on a Wednesday and a Thursday, but you need to specify the dates and specify AM or PM. I need to give this information to the testing centers. Now, if you would, give me your cell phone number. You do not have to share it, but it might help communications. And then share with me anything you care about yourself. You're not required to answer this question. Now, do you have any questions for me? Now, notice that this assignment is worth 1 point added to your final average. It is definitely worth doing. Now, how to communicate with me and get any required help? You should do it through email, cat mail. You need to check your email at least once per day. If you do not reply to an email within a couple of days, I'll assume that you're not attending and you may be dropped. Call me on my cell phone if you need an answer immediately. I would also like your cell number. As I've already mentioned, you can use Ask My Instructor in MyMathlab and I will respond quickly. You can also request a Zoom video conference for a tutoring session, or if you want to just talk about a problem, call me. Now, using a Zoom video conferencing, you can request a Zoom video conference, request by email, cell, or text. We'll agree on a day and time, and then I will send you an email invitation to join me. And then you click on the link. And it works on PCs, Macs, iPads, and tablets. If you may ask questions. I can work problems on the Zoom session, and we can discuss anything you wish about the course. Now, here's an example of the email you would receive for a Zoom meeting. You basically will click on the link that says join the Zoom meeting, and it has worked very nicely. Now, using ProctorU for proctor tests, you need to go to the website if you're going to use ProctorU. You need to register and be able to log in. Your Wi-Fi computer and camera must be working. The Wi-Fi must be pretty fast. You need to test your setup with ProctorU. Then you must notify ProctorU when you plan to take the test within a time frame window that I'll provide. And the tests will be taken on MyMathlab, and I will allow 2 hours for the exam. Now I'm going to go briefly over what we're going to be covering in our calculus. Calculus is going to be new, I presume, for most of you. We're going to first of all talk about why we need calculus and the two main areas of calculus. There are two main areas. One is called differential calculus, and it determines how fast variables are changing, like position, how fast are you going, your velocity, your acceleration, how fast are you changing speed, how fast are volumes changing, incomes changing, how fast is the spread of a virus changing. In fact, we can use calculus to analyze coronavirus spread, population, and any other quantities of interest, how fast they are changing. The other part, main part of calculus, is called integral calculus. Here you can determine the area, the volume, and other attributes related to an object or a variable. Now, we don't need calculus for this. Here we have three graphs, which is position versus time. Suppose you were 120 miles from New York and you remained 120 miles from New York. In other words, you're stationary, you're not moving. You know exactly how fast you're going 0 miles per hour if you're staying in the same spot. If you're going at a constant velocity, if you put your car in the auto mode and set it at 60 miles an hour, you would have a graph from the time you started. 1 hour, you'd be 60 miles. 2 hours, you'd be 120 miles away. And the graph is a straight line. In fact, if y was the position, it would be y equals 60 t, and the slope of that line would be 60. So in 1 hour, you're 60 miles. In 2 hours, you're 120 miles away. If you're going away from New York, your graph might look like this. Your distance from New York would be decreasing as you left, going at a constant velocity in the negative direction. So if you always go at the same speed, you don't need calculus. However, if you were trying to control a rocket height and plot it versus the flight time, notice it's not always going to go in a straight line. And notice that as you start off from the ground, you might start off and the slope of this is going to increase as you get further up. And then as you begin to get the maximum height, the slope is not going to be as great. Then you're going to come down and the slope will change. Notice that we could look at several points on the trajectory and draw what we call a tangent line that just touches the graph at that one point, and look at the slope of these tangent lines, and we can see the slope changes. So the speed or velocity of the rocket changes. Here, the slope is a certain amount. Slope is greater here, so the velocity is greater. By this point, it slowed down a little bit, and by this point, at its peak, the slope is 0. In other words, it goes to a 0 velocity, and then it goes to a negative velocity as it goes down. and hits the ground. Another area in which we need calculus is when we're looking at logistics growth. This actually shows how a virus spread can start out. A virus spread in the early days can go up after it's infected so many people. The number it affects has gotten to a constant amount once it's taken over a great part of the population. Now, we don't need calculus for this. Look at these. We have a circle, radius of r. The area is pi r squared. We have a formula. We have a square. Each side of the square is s. The area is s squared. We have a triangle. It has a base and it has a height, and the area is 1/2 the base times the height. And then we finally have a rectangle with a length L and a width W, and the area is equal to the length times the width. But next, very often you're going to have to find the area under a curve, and it's not like the shape of a triangle or a rectangle. And here we're going to use calculus to calculate the area. We're not going to talk about how to do it now, but you might suspect that if you drew a lot of little triangles, made them very narrow, and counted up the area of these triangles, that would be a good estimate of what the area would be. Now, we're going to get into this quite a bit, but this just gives you a taste of what we will be talking about in this course. So I want to say good luck to everyone. Please ask me for help anytime you need it.